Hey guys, Bios Ramos, and first and foremost, happy holidays. Today we are talking about the Miami Dolphins going to face the Las Vegas Raiders. Dolphins 9-5, Raiders 7-7, and yes, like I said, happy holidays. As I'm recording this, it is Christmas night, but probably gonna publish it tomorrow morning, which is game day. So if you're watching this, it's game day, guys, and this is a Dolphins game preview. And interesting matchup we have. Game got flexed to Saturday, kind of like expected. This is one of the games that I really wanted to go to, especially since the Raiders are playing in a new stadium. I try to go to at least one away game every year, and this was the one that I had circled on my calendar. And it was interesting around the holiday season, and I just had a feeling this game was going to be important down the line, especially since I didn't have the dates marked. Like, it wasn't official if it was going to be on the 27th or the 26th. And that kind of raised my eyebrow. I'm like, this game is going to be important down the line. And it is, because Dolphins are fighting for the continuing to stay in the playoffs as a wild card team. And the Raiders are trying to get in. They're officially not eliminated yet, but they're on the verge of it. And the Dolphins could put an end to that. We got to see. But with that being said, like always when we do these game previews, we go into ESPN matchup predictor, and the favors are not in the Dolphins' way. Dolphins 43.9%, Raiders 55.7%, and a tie at 0.4%. Now, honestly, the odds are not in Vegas' favor when it comes to their own home, where the gambling is happening all the time. Obviously, Vegas is heavily known for gambling, and like we do with the gambling odds, the spread is -3 in favor of the Dolphins, +3 for the Raiders. Money line, -150 Dolphins, +130 Raiders, and then over-under is at 48. This game, as of late, I've been going for the unders, and I think, I don't want to say for sure, but I think I'm right on these over and unders as of late. And this one I think might go over. I think this might go into I wouldn't say a shootout, but there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Oakland's defense has not looked as solid as of late. Obviously, they get some good stops, but they have not been performing to kind of what they were doing in the beginning of the season, especially when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, stuff like that. But nonetheless, they're possibly playing without their starting quarterback, Derek Carr. He injured himself last Thursday playing the Los Angeles Chargers. He hurt his groin. He was kind of rolling outside to the right on a third and goal situation. And then next thing you know, he's getting close to the boundary, and then he just throws away the ball and starts reaching towards his groin. And didn't come back into the game. Marcus Mariota comes in and, doesn't do too good, but doesn't do horrible. He doesn't throw away the game for the Raiders by any means. But, he hadn't played all year. He barely even played towards the end of last season for the Titans. So he had not had a lot of, action in the NFL as of late. So with that being said, he did pretty good. Kind of kept him in the game. Threw a big ball to Darren Waller. But besides that, wasn't too surprised with him. Just because I've seen how he plays and slightly appreciate how he plays. So, let's talk about some injuries. Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant, wide receivers for the Dolphins, both are questionable. Solomon Kinley, offensive guard, he is out. Eric Flowers, offensive tackle, well, he's really a guard, he is questionable. And then Shaq Lawson, defensive end, he is out. That's kind of unfortunate, but good news. And a lot of people I follow on Instagram that mainly just report Dolphins, we're talking about how Chris Myrick, usually a guy we kind of flex on and off of the 53-man roster, he's a tight end, and he was not flexed on to the 53-man roster before heading on this trip to Vegas. That could only kind of mean one thing. Mike Gesicki may be playing, and that's huge, because Tua loves throwing to Mike Gesicki. Even Ryan Fitzpatrick loves throwing to Mike Gesicki. But if we can also get Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant back, that'll be huge. Other news, we waived Antonio Callaway during the week. Kind of unfortunate for the guy, especially heading into the holiday season. But I'm pretty sure he will find a new NFL home soon. Obviously, probably not this year. Next year is probably more likely, especially since we're so close to playoff time. Besides that, let's talk Raiders. Malik Collins, defensive tackle, he's on injured reserve. Nick, and I'm gonna absolutely butcher this name, Kiewatowski, probably said it right, linebacker, and Nicholas Morrow, linebacker, and Colin Farrell, defensive end. Those guys are out, and then Maurice Hurst, defensive tackle, is questionable. Obviously, Derek Carr is on the verge of not playing for the Raiders due to injury, and that's unfortunate because I was hoping to see a good matchup, seeing Derek Carr against this Dolphins defense. But I don't have him here at all for his okay. So maybe he is playing. Interesting. Well, besides that, Mike Gesicki, questionable, and that's about the only other name I didn't really mention for the Dolphins. Now, with that being said, let's talk more about what has happened in the last 5 games for both of these teams. Last 5 games, Raiders have been losing a lot. They started off really hot. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Dolphins have lost 2 of their last 5. And, at least they beat the Jets. Both of these teams have beat the Jets within this 5-game stretch. And the Raiders barely beat the Jets because they were about to lose. And then Greg Williams sends the whole house. Only has 3 guys protecting the rest of the field. And one of the other guys gets burnt by Henry Ruggs. Without that, Raiders would have been on a 5-game slide. So, that being said, Raiders are not looking too hot right now. Like I said earlier, if you haven't watched in my game picks video, I kind of mentioned that they're just not looking too good right now. Now let's talk about some of their team stats for both teams. Dolphins average 25 points per game. Raiders averaging almost 27. They're at 26.9 per game. Defensively, they are allowing the Dolphins 18 points per game. I believe that's first in the league. Raiders are allowing 30 points per game. Offensively, the Dolphins are averaging 339 total yards. Raiders 384. Yards passing 233 Dolphins, 262 for the Raiders. Rushing 106 for the Dolphins, 121 for the Raiders. And then when it comes to defense, Dolphins are allowing 380 total yards. Raiders are allowing 391. Yard allowed passing 260 Miami, 266 Raiders. Yards rushing 120 Dolphins, 125 Raiders. Now, by no stretch are those stats too crazy. The only thing that's really defining is the points allowed per game. Dolphins have been one of the best teams in the league in that sense, in that category. And, it's taken them a long way. It's put them at 9-5, second in the AFC East, and currently, I believe, 7th in the wildcard spot, if I'm not mistaken. And that's not bad. Realistically, if we were in last year's season, wouldn't even be in the playoffs because there's only 6 teams allowed in the playoffs. But luckily, this year they're allowing 7. So, Buffalo is on top of the division, 11-3. Miami 9-5. New England 6-8. New York 1-13. Yes, the Jets won. They beat the Rams, which was absurd. I had to turn on the TV and watch the game just out of shock. Next, for the AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs are first in the division. Obviously, 13-1. They're first in that division and also the AFC overall standings. Then we have the Kansas City, Las Vegas Raiders 7-7, Denver Broncos, and Los Angeles Chargers both at 5-9. So, all this being said, gave you all the rundowns on both teams. Now let's talk about how the Dolphins could win this game. Dolphins need to prioritize getting to the quarterback. Every game, it's about getting to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback. Offense may or may not go into a standstill, give or take. One of two things can happen. You bring down the quarterback in the backfield or pressure him to make bad decisions. Or, the worst possible scenario, they get a completion. Point is, you want to get good pressure on the quarterback no matter if it's going to be Derek Carr, who wasn't listed on the injury report, which is kind of shocking, or Marcus Mariota. Who knows? Now, also, defensively, stopping Josh Jacobs is going to be huge. Josh Jacobs is a bell cow of this offense. He's been an absolute stud since his rookie season, which was last year, and continues to be good. Obviously, not having the same outstanding type of year, but he is still putting in work and looking damn good on the field right there. So I will not be surprised if Josh Jacobs has good success on the field on Saturday. Now, offensively, Dolphins need to address the running game, run with confidence. Salvon Ahmed had a really good game last week against the Patriots. Myles Gaskin is coming back. Matt Breida looked pretty decent. Patrick Laird is kind of like the weak link in the running back room right now, but still some depth. Besides that, hopefully we can get our key playmakers out on the field. Mike Gesicki, Jakeem Grant, Devontae Parker, and God, when is Preston Williams getting back? Like as a Dolphins fan, that's really upsetting. Just waiting on him to come back around, but understanding injuries are injuries, but it's been taking so long, and Dolphins are really being secretive with his injury. Hopefully, he can come back around playoff time. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a wash. I don't like the Dolphins' chances if they do not have another good receiver there to help out the load with Devontae Parker. Jakeem Grant's pretty good, but he kind of gets covered up pretty easily just because of his size. His speed, he can blow by anyone, but a lot of the times he gets just sized up by a lot of players. And that's some of the things. But get pressure on the quarterback, stop the run by Josh Jacobs. Offensively, run it with authority and get players healthy and get them involved early and fast. If the Dolphins can score a lot of points early in this game, it looks more likely that they could win the game a lot easier. Obviously, that's like every game. Dolphins went into last Sunday's game being the league's number one team in first quarter scoring. Now, that means one of two things. Dolphins are not scoring a lot in the second quarters, second, third, fourth quarters, or they're just scoring a lot in the first quarter and pretty much just coast the rest of the game and try to get the win. It is what it is. But could this game turn into a shootout? Possibly. Will it? I do not think so. It's going to be a good competitive game, though. I don't think the Raiders are just going to lie down and let the Dolphins walk all over them. I think they'll put up a good fight, but besides that, I think the Dolphins are going to have a very good game and come out hopefully a win and improve to 10-5, which will help their playoff standings as ever so slightly. Now, if we could look at the playoff standings, a win on Sunday with either a Colts or Browns loss, which is looking very unlikely for the Browns. They're playing the Jets, and the Colts are playing the Steelers, so possibly a loss there. And I don't think the Titans will beat the Packers. So as of right now, the Titans will drop to 10-5. The Colts may improve to 11-4, and the Steelers may drop to 11-4 as well. With that being said, Colts will move to 3, Steelers will move to 4, and Dolphins will move to. They may or may not move to 6 or 7. It depends. Those are the two spots. I don't think the Browns are going to lose to the Jets. They will move to 6 or 7 depending on the Tennessee and Indianapolis outcomes. Obviously, Indianapolis is playing Steelers, so that's going to affect some other things. But the Dolphins are looking good. They're in prime position. They just got to keep on winning as long as the Ravens keep on winning. The Ravens keep on winning. The Dolphins need to keep on winning. So that's going to be interesting to watch down the line. And the Ravens are also 9-5. So the Dolphins just have the best win percentage in conference games, which is their tiebreaker. For all that being said, winding down, 2 more games left in the season. And game is going to be in Buffalo. And hopefully, it's unfortunate that they're not playing for the division Buffalo already won that, but still fighting for playoffs. And once you get in, anything can happen. Once you get into the dance, anything can happen. So stay tuned. I'm gonna be releasing the post game review. Since this is a night game, it's at 8:15. It's gonna be tough to come out with the information like the post game review right away. But this game is gonna be aired on NFL Network, by the way, and it's gonna be tough to come out with the the post game review right away. But if you guys want it, let me know in the comments below if you want it right away after the game. Otherwise, I'll come out with it on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, whichever. Just let me know in the comments below which would you guys rather have happen. And that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy your holiday season. Hope you got everything you wish for this Christmas. And enjoy your New Year's. And I will see you guys in the next video.